board to meet secretly outside of a meeting. So the genesis of that agenda item is the owner of the River Plantation Country Club. It has asked that we consider something like that, so it's on the agenda, but you should know that there is no plan that the board has predating this meeting to do anything like that. So
I very much appreciate that, but since we don't know that, and I'm sure that's probably why many of us have shown up here, because we don't know, so we just thought, okay, this is a public forum, let's share our concerns with the board, and then hopefully the right decision will be
the
made
board
for the
wants to
majority.
hear that. You should
Yeah.
read this at
Right.
any time, and I'm sorry to say this, maybe it makes the meetings longer, but anytime you see something on the agenda you want to talk about, you should come. It is your public duty, and you are also, the park is the addition of a major facility to what this entity does, so you're the eyes and ears on the ground. If you see a tree, you see a problem, let this board know. Because Richard, he will be doing his job and his best, but we need your help because the idea is to preserve things out there. Keep it safe, keep it green. So I think you're doing the right thing by being here.
Thank you.
Do we actually have to try to go and get public funds for a park? Can't we just keep it mowed, use walking trails, and make it just RP?
That is something that will come up
Okay,
in time as we
okay,
elect to do what we want to do, or
Okay.
what the board elects to do, what they wish to do with the land itself. And your input will be wanted at that time.
okay.
So just to clarify here, for the 3.5 acres, if someone requests, like the club owner, he wants to have a parcel that would benefit his business, can the public entity sell off pieces of that? to a
No,
private
sir.
individual?
No, we can't,
No.
we don't even own title to it yet.
But if you had title,
If we had
No, sir,
title,
we don't.
we couldn't at that time either, because there are statutes that apply when it's publicly owned property to keep, I say insider trading, that's not the right phrase, but that brings to mind the right ideas. So you have to have public bidding and auctions and all this kind of stuff. So this was just a request to consider something, but this board can't sell it today, and when the case is over, they can't sell it outside of a public auction and those kind of things, which I think they would probably still look to receive community input on whether that was something that they'd want to do.
so I'm curious then, why wasn't this person who approached with the idea just said, look, this is not something we can do, so why would it end up on the agenda?
I mean, I don't know that I can answer that. Lots of things get on the agenda that don't amount to anything. I think that from my perspective, I'm speaking as the lawyer for the district, I see it on the agenda because it involves the property that's hotly contested in this community. And so I think the board is wise for at least seeing what's going on. The only way they can find this stuff out between the 5 of them is in a meeting. It's actually against the law if more than 2 of them meet about it outside of this meeting. So by having something on the agenda, it allows everyone to learn about it, understand what's being proposed, and then they can just not take any action on it if it's not something they can legally do. It's a cumbersome, awkward process, but it's what the way the government has to work, so that way y'all can know about it.
I have a quick question too. Not that I can be at all these meetings, but are you bound to, what are your requirements to notify the residents here if a decision is made to develop that 3 acres? What are you bound to do for the residents? What are you required to do for us as far as notification?
The way that would work is we have to post an agenda, right, that tells you there's an issue for possible action. And you have to put it on the agenda, you have to have the right language, and you have to post it at least 72 hours before the time of the meeting. Then the board has to have a quorum, which means at least 3 people here, and then you need at least 3 votes to approve anything. And so if something were ever approved on whatever the topic is, that whatever the results of that then have to be reflected in the official minutes of the meeting, and those minutes are made available to the public. So that's how you have to sort of follow that process, and it's all on the RPMUD website to my knowledge. So that's where you would look. The agendas and the minutes are on the website. That's where the board speaks, is through the minutes.
All right, the other comments there are no more comments made here, so we'll close that section.
Could I mention something?
Then,
Not being out of order.
you're out of order?
That's a public announcement. There's another board meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the Lone Star Convention Center. It's hosted by the Sun and Center River Park. believe me, there are people up there on Lake Conroe that have a program called Stop the Drop. And if we have an interest, we need to be there as a community, along with the people from Humboldt and Kingwood and all, that's my only point.
Well, that was one reason we scheduled the meeting for 4 o'clock today, because we were gonna schedule it for tomorrow night. And I wanted to make sure that anybody that wanted to go could go.
Yeah, they've got buses.
All right, anything else? Anyway, we've had enough.
Thank you, Jack.
We've had enough comments. I think everybody's got it out of their system now and got their say. So we will discuss and approve.
I was at the
The-
top of that.
What?
I was at the very last.
Go, Jamie.
Oh, you're not in a space.
Well, because there was no more spaces.
They ran out of parking spaces there.
Well, I didn't, they weren't on the back yet, so I thought, oh, I'll just put my name up here.
What do you need?
I was just gonna make a statement. So, what I wanted to do is first, I wanted to thank you. And I'm gonna get emotional. Thank you for doing this. Because what you're doing is you're protecting not only Plantation Village, Bellingrath, Natchez Park, Louisiana Park, Atlanta, all those parks along along Charleston. You're protecting those homes. Because after Harvey, I had scientists, I had professors that had received grants to study us, and people were coming in here and taking measurements and studying, topographers who actually determine how the water flows and how things flood. And they all explained to me that it was imperative that the drainage be right on the golf course. And I know there's drainage on the golf course because when the golf course was first established, the Army Corps of Engineers came in and they mandated that they put this drainage under that. And I've seen it firsthand, I've seen it. And, because it's right there just beyond Tom Phillips, and that area has failed. The pipe has broken. And that's why Tom Phillips takes in all the water. So, I want to commend you. I want to thank you, because now you are the keeper of all these homes and all these people's livelihood. And if you had been through the devastation that I had to work through for Harvey, you'd understand. And I know you guys live here, but until you're actually there day and night, working with these people, holding their hands, hugging them while they're crying, grown men crying because they flooded, you don't understand that. And after Imelda, furthermore, after Imelda, we had areas in the community that flooded. These homes took in water, and it was because of drainage. Now, I went to the East Plantation Mud, and I'm doing the same with you guys. I'm real quick. There are some drains that need to be cleaned out. And my question to you guys is, do you have a schedule in cleaning those things out? And when do you do that and all that kind of thing? Because there are homes that are taking on water that had never even took on water during Harvey, but right now, the county came out, we identified a couple of areas already where the mud has some blockage to some drains that need to be addressed. And they're coming out again this week to meet with me again. So my question is do you guys know where all these places are? And what is your schedule to clean those things out? Do you have a plan, and is that implemented? But again, thank you guys.
Okay, the storm drains in the system are scattered all over the place. Some I have on print, some I don't. Some I'm still finding. As far as the maintenance of them, really what I need is your help. If you have a problem in a drainage area, first thing to do is call the office, because that's a hot spot that we need to look at. The pipes and the drains, so long as they're flowing, will actually clean themselves out, provided there's no blockages in there. My crew goes out normally before every rain and make sure the grates are cleared. Now, once the rain starts, understandably, they're going to get clogged again with all the debris that goes down. So after the storm, we'll usually go back again and clear all the grates from the storm. So it's an issue that we watch all the time. But if your house has an issue, and I've gone out on quite a few of these to look at them, some of them are elevation issues that are not pertaining to the drainage, but it's elevation in the lots and stuff, which there's nothing we can do about that. But if it pertains to the system itself, that we can work on and look at. And you know, our job is to keep them all open, you're right, and that's what we're doing. We're gonna have to spend a lot of money here pretty soon to replace a lot of them and line them in section 1 especially, because all of those are deteriorating now. And we
One
put them
thing,
in the
Richard, that
70s.
would help, let me interrupt you real quick, is people that have their drains under their driveway clogged up, filled up, they need to call the county. If we
Right.
get all that stuff flowing, it's gonna make it a lot easier, but nobody's gonna do it unless you call the county and have them come out and clean that area and make your ditch real nice where it's flowing through.
Right. That's a good point he brings up that a lot of people don't understand. The district is not responsible for your culverts, the county is. So you need to call them, and the ditch lines, anything along the road, the county's responsible. We're only responsible for the main drainage system, the collection boxes that take it from the road and take it out. So that's why I'm saying, if you have an issue, call me first. I'll be glad to go out there and I'll be able to determine whose responsibility it is real quick. We have, you know, like I hear sometimes, well, people's houses flood. We don't get those calls in the office, so, you know, we don't really know it. You know, sometimes I'll stand there and say, well, wait a minute, what house flooded? We don't have a report on it.
Well, we get the call.
Yeah,
And
But-
then the next thing we do is go out and look at it, and then we figure out whose responsibility it is.
that's correct,
And
But-
usually I call the commissioner first,
right.
and then we've called you a few times. But there still are some issues.
So call the office so I can get it on record and then we can go out and look at the situation.
Okay.
Can I
Next.
piggyback onto hers?
Go ahead.
Even though I didn't know she was gonna do this, I knew somebody was. I want y'all to look at those. Richard, that's the ditch I called you on 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Those are pictures that were taken today.
And where is this?
It's on the pipeline, off of Stonewall, that Jubal Early flows to. That Jubal
Oh, this is
Early
the
has
back
no.
Yeah.
that we went a month ago and traipsed up and down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
still looks like that today. Those are pictures that were taken this morning.
Yeah.
Jubal Early, when it drains, is supposed to drain into that, and it can't.
And Williams
Whose
Fair
ditch is
Park.
that?
Well, it's ours.
It's, uh,
That needs to be cleaned out in there, especially.
Yeah, we need to clean that out. We gotta get some good weather to get in there. I've already looked at it because the footing is so bad here, it's so full of mud and stuff that we're gonna have to contract that out.
Yeah, we were contacted almost 2 months ago.
Yeah,
I
but
was
Richard,
saying,
you
I
can't tell a
contacted him.
homeowner to put in French drains when she's never flooded before, and because that's not cleaned out, that's not her responsibility.
And I contacted Richard on January 3rd.
Well, I know for a fact
Went
that
back out today.
the problem is that it's, some of it is inside EP, some of it is not.
This is not easy.
I was gonna say,
This
not
is
over
our-
there
this is
with
our district,
BEP.
yeah.
Some of it is in the back people's yards where we have no right of way.
That's not in somebody's backyard, because there's fences, so.
I'm just talking about the overall condition.
Okay.
This is what,
But there's probably a foot of standing water that's not moving.
there's that when you
Because
cross
it
Jubal
can't.
Early.
What?
There's that when you
It's
cross
not in
Jubal
that
Early.
It's not Jubal Early, it's behind
Well, I
Jubal
didn't
Early.
say it was.
It's where
I just
Jubal
said
Early
there's a
drains.
standing water there on Jubal Early when you cross it.
Yeah, enough said.
All right, let's go on to the next item, which is to discuss and approve the Montgomery County Election Service Agreement and Joint Election Agreement. There is a, huh?
Missed one. Number 3.
Three. Skip 3.
Oh, order for election of directors, yeah. It's right here. Notice of public meeting, notice is hereby given to all interested members of the public that the board of directors of the Caption District will hold a public meeting at 610 River Plantation Drive, Conroe 77302. The meeting will be held at 4 p.m. on Monday, January 20th. Subject of the meeting is to consider and act on the following: adopt order calling directors election. Do I hear a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion that we adopt it.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion been made and seconded to call for an election of board of directors. All in favor?
Aye.
There's 3 of those that you and Tim have to sign.
Pardon?
There's 3 of them, copies that you have to sign. one stays in the office, one
Where
goes
are
to the
they?
county. I had them out on the table there.
There
There they are.
There they are, okay. Set them over here where it's over here.
Yep.
All right, shall we retire into executive session to discuss the real matter, real estate matter?
I'm tired of 7-Eleven fairly.